Hello, Anicod here. In today's video we're going to be looking at the HBHF sensor, or in geek terms, heart, breathing, humidity and footstep sensor. There will be a few builds at the end, including a pretty cool trap base, so stick around for that. So, the HBHF sensor then. As the name suggests, it pretty much senses anyone within range and it outputs 1 power when it's activated. You can place them on the floor, on the walls or even on the roofs. They look like this and they've got 200 HP, which is incredible for a component. That's the equivalent of 2 rockets or 3 satchel charges to destroy. By the way, HP is hit points, not horsepower. Come on, pay attention. They cost 75 metal, I'm not falling for this again. They cost 75 metal there, just metal. And you need a level 2 workbench to craft one of these as well. If you don't have the blueprint, it's not too hard to find one. Check out the dome guide video in the cards at the top right hand side of the screen now if you want to know how to complete that puzzle and get 4 military crates. Anyway, let's look at the basic operation. You have a power in and a power out widget. Remember, the HBHF sensor can only output 1 power when activated, so any more than 2 power going in is going to be pointless. That being said, if there's more than 1 enemy, then it'll output an extra 1 power for everyone in range, which is a cool way of finding out how many people are door camping you. You can use a branch to choose how much power goes into the sensor. By the way, the HBHF sensor uses 1 power and outputs the other 1, which is why you need 2 going in. 1 plus 1 is 2. Now I hope I haven't lost you. The blue light only needs 1 power, so let's hook it up and see what happens. Now you can see the sensor is sensing us and activating the light, but what if we don't want the sensor to pick up the people authorised on the base? Well, get your skipping rope out and you can change it to ignore or include authorised or unauthorised people. I shouldn't have to say this, but when I say authorised, I mean on a tool cupboard. So, you know what it looks like, you know how to get one, you know the basic operation, let's get building some stuff. Now what if you want to power something more than a crappy light that's going to do nothing more than annoy your raiders? Well, for this we need a special tool. It's the best friend of the HBHF sensor, it's the AND switch. Oh, look at them together. Cute. Anyway, pay attention because this is going to need full concentration mode. The HBHF sensor can only output 1, but the turret needs 10 power to work. So let's watch this magic. You'll need to put the same power into the HBHF sensor, so 2 power using the branch as I showed you before. The other side of the branch needs to go to the bottom of the switch. Now the interesting thing about the AND switch is it needs both widgets in the bottom to be active or have power going through. It will allow the highest input through the switch and out into the component, in this case the turret. So in this situation, one side of the AND switch is permanently powered and the other side is only activated when the HBHF sensor is active, hence letting power through and activating the turret. Boom, sorted. I'd recommend rewinding this video until you fully understand the relationship between the AND and the HBHF sensor, because it's almost pointless using one without the other, unless you enjoy silly little flashy things. If you want a guide on smart switches, check out the cards in the top right now and I'll talk you through them all. Now this is still sensing me, so I can show you the range. You or the intruder needs to be in line of sight and about 20 metres or 3 foundation squares away. Most of the time your rooms are not going to be this open, so this should be plenty of range. Now as promised, let me show you a trap base. You'll have to modify this design to get people to fall for it, but here's a basic template for you. Someone sees the base with the door open, they sneak in, they can't see anything, they check out the full room and there's no danger. Then they check the behind the door and there's a single HBHF sensor. The door closes, the garage doors open and waiting for them is a pair of angry turrets to obliterate them. So how did I build this? Now it's really not as complicated as it looks. When you set up the sensor and the OR switch, do it the same way I showed you earlier, but this time put the out of the OR switch into the block pass-through of the blocker. This will link up to the door controller, in turn linked with the front door, and then this door controller is passed through and linked to the other two door controllers that link to the roller doors. Now, because we want the roller doors to open and not close like the front door, we need to use a blocker reverse circuit. Blocker video in the cards. Now, there's lots of cards in this video. Now, in case you're wondering how it's all powered, I'm just using a generator and a few splitters. It's up to you to wire it up economically if you want to do that. Now, the turrets are powered as normal with no intricate circuits. The roller doors simply block the view of the turret to the intruder, which is why they don't shoot when someone walks in immediately. The blocker and one side of the OR switch is powered with the generator too, because remember, blockers need power too. And that's pretty much it. Again, it's way more simple than it looks. If you are stuck, just rewind the video slightly and just copy everything I've done on this. Now, to go into a bit more detail, you have power going through the blocker into the door controller, which keeps the door open. When power goes through the HBHF sensor, it will block the blocker, in turn closing the door and allowing power through all three door controllers. Obviously, when you do this, you will be hiding the cables and components, apart from the HBHF sensor, obviously. So the roller doors then, as mentioned, these are blocked at the moment due to power entering the side of the blocker. However, when this power stops, it will be allowed to pass power through and it will activate the door controllers and will open the doors. When the person dies or escapes, there's nothing left for the HBHF sensor to sense, and the circuit completely resets itself for the next victim. There's literally nothing you can do. You can go offline if you want and come back the next day, and as long as you haven't been raided, there should be a pile of dead bodies ready to loot. Now, when you do this, make sure you put loot crates and a few other things around to make it look like an abandoned base. Remember, you want people to fall for it. So now let's look at it at an enemy's point of view. So here's an enemy with an AK, has a little bit of a look around, walks in, sees there's no danger, chats crap, gets banged. Simple as that. Anyway, I really hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have watched this far, let me know you're a legend in the comments down below. If there is anything you want me to cover, feel free to let me know and I'll add it to the list. I am on the usual social media like Twitter if you want to see what I'm up to. You can follow me on Instagram if you want to see a video's thumbnail before the video's even released. Remember, if you did enjoy the video in any way, feel free to leave a like. If you want to see more of this content, feel free to hit subscribe, and I release videos weekly. Really appreciate you watching this far, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.